The galaxy believed humanity was gone. After the long and brutal war, Earth's cities were ash, its colonies broken, and its fleet shattered. Across the stars, alien empires raised their banners high. Their rulers drank to victory, their soldiers cheered, and their historians declared, "The age of humanity is finished." In the halls of the Dominion Senate, alien delegates mocked Earth as a failed experiment. The proud reptilian Vare toasted to the fall of the hairless primitives. The insectoid Kalewirer hissed that humans were nothing but loud animals finally put in cages. Even the cautious Avori, a bird-like species known for wisdom, said that humanity's spirit was strong but foolish. Celebrations echoed across the stars. Fireworks filled alien skies. Great fleets paraded before their homeworlds. Children were told stories of how humanity's resistance had been crushed and how no one would dare rise against the galactic order again. But far away, on a cold blue world spinning quietly in the dark, silence hid the truth. Beneath the frozen mountains, under Earth's icy mountains, where no alien dared to search, there were doors older than memory. They were not simple doors, but massive gates of black metal, buried beneath glaciers, sealed for centuries. They stretched for kilometers, hidden behind frozen cliffs. The aliens thought Earth had no strength left. They never imagined these doors existed. They never guessed what slept inside. And tonight, the doors began to move. Slowly, with a deep groaning sound, the black gates cracked open. Ice shattered and fell in great avalanches. Steam rose from ancient vents. A soundless tremor shook the ground, as if something enormous was waking after a long, long dream. Inside the cavern beyond the gates, darkness stirred. For centuries, the machines had slept. Their hulls were covered in frost, their cores cold, their weapons silent. But now, one by one, lights began to flicker. Red eyes glowed in the dark. Energy pulsed through vast cables. The machines were waking. Rows upon rows of war machines stood in silence. Tanks larger than houses, walkers with legs of steel, starfighters stacked like blades, and towering ships that filled entire hangars. They had been hidden here during Earth's earliest wars, kept secret even from most humans. They were the forgotten arsenal. The human commander. A single figure walked through the awakening cavern. His boots echoed against the steel floor. He wore no medal, no grand uniform, only black armor, marked with the old Earth insignia. His face was hard, aged by war, his eyes cold with memory. This was Commander Arakale. He had fought in the last war, when alien fleets burned Earth's skies. He had seen cities turn to fire and billions of his people fall. He had been forced underground when the last human fleet was destroyed. Many believed he was dead. But he had been waiting. Now, as he stood before the machines, he whispered a single word. "It's time." The great machines answered with a roar of engines. Hangars came alive with fire and light. Generators rumbled, weapons charged, and the cavern shook under the fury of awakening steel. The signal. Kale moved to a console hidden deep within the command chamber. The screens glowed with ancient symbols, and his hands moved with practiced speed. Codes were entered, locks disengaged, and deep systems came online. But his true purpose was not the machines. Not yet. It was the signal. For years, the galaxy had laughed at Earth's silence. They believed humanity was too broken to speak. But now, as the machines roared back to life, Kale sent a message into the void. A simple burst of encrypted energy shot upward, piercing the atmosphere, racing past moons, slipping into the dark between stars. It was not words, not yet. It was a pulse, sharp and heavy, carrying a warning. Across the galaxy, alien listening stations stirred. Screens flickered, alarms screamed, and operators froze in disbelief. The frequency was old human frequency, one that had been silent for decades. "Impossible," muttered a Vare commander as the signal struck his outpost. "It cannot be them," whispered a Kalewirer technician, his antenna trembling. The Alvori scientists looked at one another in silence, their wings tightening. Because the signal was not just a call. It carried power. It carried something alien sensors could not understand. It made stars quiver for a second, as if reacting to humanity's return. The empires that had laughed only hours before now felt their blood run cold. Panic in the stars. Reports spread like wildfire. The Dominion Senate gathered again, no longer in celebration but in fear. The alien leaders argued loudly, their voices sharp and desperate. "The humans are dead. This is a trick," shouted a Ver admiral. "No trick shakes the sensors of 10 systems," replied an Avori elder grimly. "The Kalewire are hissed. If they wake again, if they truly rise, our fleets must be ready. We must burn Earth to ash." But already, they knew it was too late. The galaxy had seen a signal that should never have existed. They had felt something older, darker, hidden deep within Earth. Something even humanity itself had kept secret. And deep beneath the frozen mountains, Commander Kale smiled without joy. "This time," he whispered to himself, "we do not wait for them to strike first." Behind him, the machines continued to roar. The ground trembled as the Vault's armies prepared to march. Above the surface, snowstorms raged as though the planet itself knew war was coming. Humanity was not finished. Humanity was gathering. And the galaxy had no idea what was about to be unleashed. The signal did not go unnoticed. Across the galaxy, alien sensors screamed alarms. In the control chambers of great empires, leaders leaned forward, staring at flickering red lights on holographic maps. The source was unmistakable: Earth. For centuries, Earth had been silent, broken, weak. The war had drained its resources, and every alien believed the humans had buried themselves under their ruined cities. They called Earth the graveyard world. But now, something old and powerful stirred beneath its mountains, and the signal carried a code none of them could understand. On the ice-covered peaks of Antarctica, snowstorms raged. Yet under the frozen layers, deep within a hidden bunker carved into solid rock, ancient machines began to hum. The ground trembled as titanic vault doors, sealed for hundreds of years, unlocked with a deep metallic groan. Inside, rows of war machines stretched into darkness. Giant tanks, black-armored drones, towering exosuits, all dormant, waiting. Their glowing cores blinked alive, one by one, like eyes opening after centuries of sleep. At the center of it all stood Commander Eric Vale, the man who had whispered the words, "It's time." His face was hard, scarred from battles that the galaxy had already forgotten. He wore no medals, no bright uniform, only a simple black jacket with a faded Earth insignia. Yet the soldiers who stood behind him, silent and steady, looked at him with absolute trust. "Commander," one of his aides said, her voice trembling with awe as the machines roared to life, "we've woken them. All of them." Eric nodded slowly. "The galaxy thought we were dead. Now they will see the truth." Far above Earth, satellites hidden in orbit began transmitting encrypted codes. Across the solar system, more vaults answered the call. On the dark side of the moon, long-forgotten war factories powered up, spewing black smoke into space as robotic arms reassembled fleets. On Mars, deep craters lit up with the glow of underground launch bays, preparing weapons the galaxy thought destroyed. It was not just technology. It was a plan. A shadow empire, built in silence, waiting for the moment to strike back. Meanwhile, in the far reaches of alien space, panic spread. In the council chambers of the Vayari Empire, golden-skinned nobles argued in fear. "This cannot be," one of them shouted, slamming his clawed hand against the table. "Earth was broken. We destroyed their fleets, their cities. How can they rise again?" Another noble hissed, "The signal, they are awakening something. Machines. Weapons older than the war itself." The council leader, cloaked in silver, leaned forward. His voice was cold, heavy with dread. "Do not underestimate them. Humans are dangerous when desperate. If they have been hiding their strength, then we may have celebrated too soon." Back on Earth, the awakening spread. Deep in the jungles of South America, Massive stone structures that looked like ruins cracked open, revealing hangars hidden beneath roots and vines. Swarms of drones lifted into the sky, their wings glowing with blue fire. In the deserts of Africa, long-buried silos opened, sending missiles screaming upward to test their ancient guidance systems. Civilians, the scattered remnants of humanity, stared in shock as the ground shook and machines rose. Children pointed at the skies as black ships, once thought to be myths, broke through the clouds. Elders whispered old stories, tales of humanity's secret preparations, dismissed as legends. But now the legends were real. Commander Eric Vale stood inside the central control chamber, watching as holograms displayed the awakening across Earth. One by one, red markers on the map turned green, indicating reactivation. The arsenal was alive again. Yet Eric's eyes were not calm. They carried weight, a deep sadness mixed with iron resolve. He knew what was coming. The galaxy would not sit idle. Once they realized what humanity had awakened, they would strike. His aide approached again. "Commander, we're receiving external transmissions. Alien empires are demanding answers. They're afraid." Eric gave a faint, grim smile.
"Good.
Let them fear. But do not answer yet. Let the silence speak louder." Silence, after all, was more terrifying than words. In orbit, the first of the awakened warships rose. Its hull was black, edges sharp like a blade, built for one purpose: war. As it powered up, its engines screamed across the void, sending shockwaves that rattled satellites. Its name glowed across the side in Old Terran script: Nemesis. The galaxy had thought Nemesis destroyed centuries ago. But now, it drifted into the stars again, alive and ready. Across alien systems, citizens froze as their news channels displayed the same terrifying image: Earth's black warship rising from the shadows. Whispers began. Fear spread. Panic rose. In one empire, a general whispered to his ruler, "We should strike them now, before their full arsenal awakens." But the ruler shook his head. His eyes were wide, his voice shaken. "Strike them?
No.
Look at what they are showing us. This is not the act of the weak. This is a warning. And I fear we do not yet understand the scale of what humanity has hidden." Back on Earth, Commander Eric Vale watched Nemesis rise into orbit. He whispered only one sentence, a promise carried into the dark. They wanted humanity broken. Instead, we will show them fury. And somewhere, deep in alien space, the first fleets began to mobilize. The galaxy's fragile peace was about to shatter once more. But this time, humanity was not unprepared. Suspense ending, as Nemesis drifted into the stars, Earth's hidden vaults sent out a second signal, louder, sharper, undeniable. Across the galaxy, every sensor lit up at once. Humanity was no longer silent. Humanity had just declared its return. The galaxy was no longer calm. Across alien star systems, fleets scrambled into formation. Massive battleships, shaped like knives and claws, lined up in orbit around their homeworlds. Commanders barked orders, crews rushed into stations, and the fear of one single word spread like fire: humans. For centuries, humans had been dismissed as broken, a scattered species clinging to survival. Yet now, the images of Earth's black warship Nemesis spread across every communication channel. Its hull shimmered with forbidden alloys. Its engines burned with a power most empires had outlawed. To many, it looked less like a warship and more like a nightmare returned from the grave. The Dominion High Council met in secret. Dozens of alien leaders filled a vast chamber lit with pale blue fire. Their faces were tense, their voices sharp. "They cannot be allowed to rise again," a reptilian commander roared. "If humans rebuild their fleets, they will bring chaos to us all." A tall insectoid queen hissed in reply, her mandibles clicking. "We thought them dead. Yet they hid their weapons from us. That means they planned this. For centuries." Silence followed. The truth was heavy. Humanity had not simply survived, they had waited. Finally, the Dominion Chancellor, cloaked in golden armor, spoke with a voice that shook the hall. "Then we will unite. We will strike Earth before their shadow empire fully awakens. For the survival of the galaxy, humanity must be crushed." And so the orders spread. Fleets of hundreds, then thousands of alien ships burned their engines toward Earth. On Earth itself, humanity prepared. Commander Eric Vale stood in the central command chamber deep beneath Antarctica, staring at a projection of the galaxy. Red lights swarmed across the map, each one an alien fleet moving closer. "They're coming," whispered his aide, Mira Solon. Her voice was steady, but her eyes carried fear. "We don't have numbers like that. Even with our hidden war machines, there are too many." Eric's jaw tightened. "We don't need numbers. We need timing." As if answering his words, another awakening began. Across the oceans, hidden vaults erupted from the waves. Massive submarines surfaced, their hulls bristling with cannons that glowed like molten fire. In the deserts, underground factories pushed up steel towers, launching waves of fighter craft into the skies. In orbit, not one but dozens of black warships joined Nemesis, their engines lighting up Earth's night like a second constellation. Yet even with all of this, Mira was right. The galaxy's fleets still dwarfed them. Humanity had strength, yes, but not enough to fight all empires at once. Unless, Eric turned to another console, one locked behind layers of security. His hand hovered over it. This was not a weapon in the usual sense. This was something far older, far more dangerous. Mira noticed and froze. "Commander, are you truly going to use that?" Eric's eyes were grim. The galaxy thinks it knows fear, but it has never seen the true heart of Earth. Meanwhile, the first alien fleets reached the edge of the solar system. The Veari dreadnought Harrow's spear led the charge, a ship so massive its shadow could eclipse a moon. Its commander, General Karath, looked at Earth's distant star through the viewing screen. His mandibles twitched in anger. "Bring us closer," he ordered. "We will crush their warships and burn their planet. This human rebellion ends before it begins." But as the alien fleets advanced, something strange happened. Sensors flickered. Navigation systems froze. The stars themselves seemed to twist. Across their ships, alien crews shouted in confusion. And then they saw it. From the darkness beyond Pluto, shapes began to emerge. Massive, silent, invisible until now. Warships, far larger than even the Nemesis. Their hulls were jagged, almost alive, and they carried markings not seen for centuries. These were not just ships. These were titans. The last hidden layer of Earth's arsenal had awakened. On Earth, the ground shook as ancient vaults opened one final time. Deep in forgotten cities, giant machines rose from the earth, each one taller than skyscrapers, their eyes glowing with red fire. Children and elders alike stared in awe as these metal giants marched toward the oceans, stepping into the waves and disappearing into the deep, heading for battle. Commander Eric Vale's voice echoed across all human channels. "For centuries, they thought us weak. For centuries, we let them believe it. But today, humanity shows its truth. We are not broken. We are not silent. We are the storm they cannot stop." At the edge of the solar system, the alien fleets froze. The Titans moved with terrifying silence, their weapons glowing brighter than suns. Even the mighty Harrow's spear hesitated, its commander whispering words he never thought he'd say. We underestimated them. But hesitation was deadly. In the next instant, the Titans fired. Beams of pure energy, sharp as blades, cut through alien warships as if they were paper. Explosions lit the void. Entire fleets burned in seconds. The galaxy had come to crush Earth. But instead, they had awakened its fury. The first shots of war burned across the stars. The alien armadas, once so confident, now faced a nightmare they had never expected. Earth's hidden titans carved through their fleets at the edge of the solar system, each strike shattering dreadnoughts that had ruled galaxies for centuries. Yet the aliens did not retreat. Pride and fear pushed them forward. For every ship that burned, 10 more entered formation, driving straight for Earth. Humanity's storm had begun, but so had the galaxy's vengeance. From orbit, the sky above Earth turned into fire. Alien cruisers rained plasma across the atmosphere, their weapons glowing like falling suns. In response, Earth's hidden defenses revealed themselves. Mountains split open, unleashing rail cannons the size of skyscrapers. From beneath the oceans, submarines fired torpedoes that leapt into the sky like spears of lightning. The human warship Nemesis led the orbital defense. Its black hull gleamed as it tore through alien squadrons. One moment it vanished into stealth, the next it reappeared behind enemy lines, firing beams that split entire cruisers apart. On the command deck, Commander Eric Vale watched the chaos unfold. "Report," he ordered, his voice calm though the ship trembled around him. 70 alien ships destroyed, sir," Mira Solon answered, her fingers dancing across the controls. "But more are coming. Hundreds. No, thousands." Eric's eyes narrowed. "Good. Let them come." Over the Atlantic Ocean, the battle grew even worse. Alien dropships broke through the defense lines and plunged into Earth skies. Cities screamed as the invaders descended, but humanity was ready. From hidden hangars beneath old ruins, fighter wings launched into the storm. Their designs were unlike any alien craft, sharp, fast, unpredictable. They did not fight in perfect formation like their enemies. They fought like humans, wild, clever, impossible to predict. Alien commanders shouted in confusion as their sensors failed to track the fighters' movements. Missiles spiraled in unexpected arcs. Lasers hit weak spots no alien had even thought could be targeted. Within minutes, entire invasion wings fell in fire. Yet still, more dropships pressed forward. On the ground, in the ruins of New York, massive shadows moved. Humanity's walking giants, the Titans, strode through the smoke, their steps shaking the earth. As alien dropships landed, the Titans met them head-on. One Titan raised its arm, unleashing a cannon blast that shredded an entire squadron of soldiers. Another swung a blade of plasma, cutting through armored walkers like toys. The ground battle had begun, and the world trembled with it. Inside the Dominion flagship Crown Eternal, the Chancellor watched the fight with a cold, furious gaze. "This is impossible," he growled, claws clenching around his throne. "No species hides this much power. They should have been ashes." A trembling advisor bowed low. "Chancellor, perhaps the legends were true. Perhaps humanity had an empire once before. An empire older than we ever knew." The Chancellor snarled. "Then we will bury those legends in fire. Order every fleet, no retreat. Crush Earth completely." Back aboard Nemesis, Mira gasped as more red lights swarmed across the galactic map. "They're sending everything," she whispered. "Every fleet in the Dominion is converging here. Billions of soldiers. Thousands of warships." Eric Vale stood silent for a long moment. Then his voice came low and sharp. "Good. The more they send, the more they'll lose." He touched the locked console again. The forbidden weapon. The one he had sworn never to use, unless Earth was on the edge of death. Myra's hand stopped him. "Commander, if you activate that, there's no going back." His eyes burned. "We already crossed that line the moment they came for us. Now they will see what humanity truly hid." Above Earth, the alien dreadnought Harrow's spear locked onto Nemesis. General Karatha's voice thundered through his crew. "Target their flagship. Destroy it, and the rest will fall." The alien ship unleashed a blast so massive it tore the clouds from the sky. The beam shot straight toward Nemesis. For a moment, silence. Then, at the last second, Nemesis vanished. Gasps echoed across both fleets as the human ship reappeared behind Harrow's spear. Its weapons glowed, brighter and brighter, until the entire void seemed to shake. "Fire," Eric commanded. The beam struck. Harrow's spear cracked apart, flames tearing through its hull until the dreadnought exploded in a roar that lit the night sky of Earth itself. Cheers erupted across human channels. For the first time in centuries, humanity had killed not just a ship, but a legend. Yet, even in victory, the battle worsened. More Dominion fleets warped in. More fire rained upon Earth. Cities burned, oceans boiled, and the night turned red. Eric looked down at the console once more. Mira shook her head, whispering, "If you do this, you'll change the galaxy forever." He pressed his hand to the controls. "Exactly," he said. And deep within Earth's core, something older than the war machines began to stir. The true weapon. The secret even most humans did not know. The heart of Earth. The ground shook. Oceans roared. Skies burned red as the hidden truth of Earth began to wake. The aliens thought humanity's titans and warships were the secret. They thought the weapons hidden in mountains and seas were the great mystery. They were wrong. Those were only guardians. Protectors of something far older. Something that had slept beneath Earth for millions of years. The heart of Earth. In the command deck of Nemesis, alarms blared as seismic waves ripped through the planet below. Mira gripped her console. "Commander, readings are off the charts. Something is moving inside the planet, something massive." Eric's voice was calm, steady. "Good. That means it still remembers us." The crew stared at him in shock. One officer whispered, you knew about this?" Eric's eyes hardened. "I prayed we'd never need it." From orbit, Dominion fleet slowed. Alien generals barked orders, but their soldiers hesitated. Their scanners screamed warnings no one understood. Beneath the crust of Earth, great tectonic lines glowed with light, veins of blue fire spreading across continents and oceans. It was as if the very planet itself was alive, pulsing with energy older than stars. Then, from the heart of the Pacific Ocean, something rose. A structure. No, an engine. Vast and black, its surface carved with symbols no alien language could read. It towered higher than mountains, its shadow swallowing fleets as it broke the surface. The heart of Earth was awake. On the Dominion flagship Crown Eternal, the Chancellor staggered to his feet. His eyes widened, his voice trembling for the first time. "This cannot be. That's not a weapon. That's a world engine." His advisors panicked. But those are myths. Legends from the first civilizations. Machines that could shape stars, burn fleets, and rewrite galaxies. The Chancellor's claws dug into his throne. If humans command that, then the Dominion is already dead. In the ruins of New York, civilians hiding in bunkers felt the ground tremble. Many screamed. But one old man whispered words long forbidden. "They've awakened her." Back on Nemesis, Myra's voice shook as she stared at the rising machine. "Commander, what does it do?" Eric's eyes stayed locked on the view. "It does whatever humanity needs it to do." The heart of Earth pulsed once, and space itself shivered. Alien ships caught in its wave collapsed in fire, their shields shattering like glass. Dominion cruisers twisted apart as if gravity itself had turned against them. Entire invasion wings disappeared in seconds. Earth had not just unleashed a weapon. It had unleashed a god machine. But the power came with a price. Mira saw it first. "Commander, the energy is draining Earth itself. The planet can't survive long with the heart fully active." Eric didn't flinch. "Then we finish this quickly. We end the Dominion today." Across the galaxy, panic spread. Fleets scrambled to retreat. Entire star systems sent desperate warnings. Do not approach Earth. The humans have awoken the heart. But it was too late. Dominion forces already in orbit tried to escape, only to be pulled back by invisible gravity fields, dragged screaming into the heart's glow. One by one, the Chancellor's fleets fell. Yet the Chancellor refused to flee. He stood tall in his throne, eyes burning. "Signal every ship. Even if it kills us, we will strike. If humanity has a god, then we will burn it from the stars." And the Dominion charged. The sky above Earth became a storm of madness. Alien dreadnoughts fired every weapon they had. Beams brighter than suns tore into the heart. Entire cities shook as counterfire rained down. But the heart did not break. It answered. Massive arcs of lightning leapt from its surface, carving through fleets in silence. Space itself bent, swallowing alien ships into rifts that never closed. With each strike, more Dominion warships disappeared as if erased from history. Inside Nemesis, Mira whispered, "It's not fighting like a machine. It's fighting like it remembers being alive." Eric's jaw tightened. That's because it is alive. The heart isn't just a weapon. It's the last remnant of humanity's first empire. An empire the galaxy forgot, but we didn't. For a moment, silence fell across the battlefield. Every Dominion commander felt it, the weight of something ancient, something vast, something that had watched over Earth for millennia. And in that silence, a single transmission echoed across all channels. It was not Eric. It was not Mira. It was the heart itself. Its voice was deep, resonant, unmistakably human. We are humanity. We are awake. On alien worlds across the galaxy, billions trembled. Dominion leaders who had ruled for centuries felt fear they had never known, because they realized the truth. Earth had never been a backwater. Earth had never been weak. Earth had been a prison, a cradle, a tomb for a weapon too dangerous to let roam free. And now the tomb was open. But inside Nemesis, Myra's voice cracked. "Commander, if the heart keeps fighting, Earth won't survive. It will drain the planet dry." Eric stared into the light of the heart, his eyes dark, his face set in iron. "Then we give it one last command," he said softly. "One final order to save us all." He leaned toward the console, speaking not to his crew, but to the machine itself. "Heart of Earth, show them why they should never have come here." The skies above Earth were fire. Dominion warships broke apart like glass, their pieces burning as they fell through the atmosphere. The oceans churned, mountains cracked, and the ground itself split open under the weight of the heart of Earth. It was victory and apocalypse. On the Nemesis, the crew watched in silence as the machine pulsed again. Each wave annihilated another swarm of Dominion ships. But every pulse tore more life from Earth itself. Myra's voice was hoarse. "Commander, we can't hold this. If it keeps fighting, Earth will be nothing but ash and hours." Eric stood still, fists clenched at his sides. He had led armies, faced impossible odds, but this choice was heavier than war. Win and lose Earth, or stop and let the Dominion rise again. The crew turned to him, waiting. The fate of humanity was balanced on his word. The Dominion Chancellor watched from his burning flagship. His fleets were gone, his empire unraveling. Yet still he sneered. "This is your victory, humans?" He spat across the comm channels. "To burn your own cradle? To destroy yourselves with the very thing you thought would save you?" Eric answered, his voice steady. "You never understood us. We were never afraid to bleed for survival. Earth is not just soil and stone, it's memory. It's fire. And even if we fall, you will never escape what we've become." The Chancellor laughed, even as flames consumed his throne. "Then die with your god machine, Commander." Moments later, his ship vanished in a storm of light. The Dominion was broken. But Earth was breaking too. Cities crumbled. Oceans boiled. The sky itself cracked with fire. Mira grabbed Eric's arm. "We need to shut it down. If the heart keeps going, there will be nothing left to save." Eric closed his eyes. For a moment, he heard the whispers of the heart, the voice that had spoken to them, deep and human. "We are humanity. We are awake." He understood then. The heart wasn't a weapon built to conquer. It was a guardian, a last shield, a promise left behind by the first empire of man. It wasn't meant to destroy Earth. It was waiting for something, a command. Eric stepped forward, standing at the console. "Open the channel to the heart." Mira hesitated. "Commander, what are you doing?" Eric's eyes were firm. "Ending this. Not with fire, but with choice." The channel opened, and once again the heart's voice filled the air. "Commander of Earth, speak." The crew froze. It was addressing him directly. Eric's voice was steady, but his chest was heavy. "You've done enough. You've saved us. But Earth cannot pay this price. The Dominion is broken. Stand down." The heart was silent for a moment. Then it asked, in a voice that seemed to come from the bones of the planet itself, "Do you wish me to sleep again?" The crew stared. Myra's breath caught in her throat. This was it. The last choice. Eric whispered, "Yes. Sleep. But not forever. Only until we need you again." The heart pulsed one final time. Across the sky, Dominion remnants were swept away, cast into the void. But then the machine's glow faded, its titanic form sinking back beneath the Pacific. The veins of fire across Earth dimmed, closing like wounds. The planet was scarred, cities broken, oceans shifted, millions lost. But Earth still lived. And so did humanity. The nemesis floated in silence above the battered world. The crew exhaled for the first time in hours. Tears fell, quiet sobs breaking the stillness. Mira turned to Eric. "You saved us, but at what cost?" Eric's gaze stayed fixed on the earth below. He saw the scars, the fire, the broken land. Yet he also saw the light of survivors rising from the ruins. Humans pulling each other from rubble, carrying wounded, raising flags above shattered cities. "The cost," he said softly, "was a reminder. We thought Earth was just a home. We forgot it was also a weapon. Now the galaxy knows. And they will never forget." Across alien worlds, shockwaves spread. Dominion governors abandoned their posts. Vassal races whispered of rebellion. Old enemies of the Dominion saw an opening to rise. One phrase echoed across the stars, repeated in fear and awe. The humans awakened the heart. In the days that followed, Earth rebuilt. Not quickly, not easily. But humanity had done the impossible. They had shattered an empire older than themselves, not with numbers, but with will. And the heart, deep beneath the ocean, slept once more. But its whisper lingered. "We are humanity. We are awake." Years later, children would stand on the shores of the Pacific, staring at the waves. Their parents told them never to fear. That under the sea, something vast still watched over them. Not as a weapon, not as a curse, but as a promise. The galaxy thought Earth was weak. The galaxy thought humanity was alone. Now they knew the truth. Earth was never weak, and humanity was never alone. Because when the heart of Earth beat, the stars themselves listened.